Hey, Ty Brady here with Brady Insurance Marketing in the Ty Brady Way, one of the nation's largest field marketing organizations that helps independent agents achieve a 6- and 7-figure income with the systems and strategies that I'm going to talk about with you today. I'm not a doctor, and I want to preface that I'm not, but these are, a lot of things that I say here. The content that I have is brought to you of things that I've learned or I believe. So I want to talk a little bit about anxiety, and anxiety is a created emotion. What do I mean by that? Anxiety is created. Now, there are times where people may need, medication for anxiety, and I'm not discrediting any of that. But what I want to talk about is your mindset in relationship to anxiety and how you can change it. But before I do that, I want to tell you a few stories about some recent anxiety that I've had and how it messes with your mindset and your mental capacity and your positive and negative thoughts. So you don't have to believe everything you think. Let me just say that again. You do not have to believe everything you think. So recently I took a family trip, and we took some great friends of ours, and we went to Lake Powell. So if any of you have ever been to Lake Powell or haven't, I think you should go. However, I went to a different part of the lake that I've never gone before. And you go up the channel, a place called Dangling Rope, which is where you get fuel. And I may say that wrong because I don't know the area quite that well yet. But anyway, I relied on somebody that I was driving with that he knew where he was going. So first of all, that was my mistake, not checking where we're going. But come to find out, the mile marker was 40 from the dam. And I was a mile marker 68. So I was 28 miles past destination. Knowing that the fuel on the boat was getting low, I had to realize that I had to go back to the docking station and get fuel. That created a lot of unnecessary anxiety for me, because here I have 8 people on a boat, and it's my responsibility to keep them safe, to keep them out of harm's way, to make sure they get to and from their destination safely. But I created that anxiety. How did I create that anxiety? I did it by not checking the map. I did it by relying on somebody else. I did it by my own lack of ignorance. It was me. I did it all. So as I'm driving back, I get to mile marker 49, and I can feel the boat just cutting out. Just cutting in and out, and my anxiety keeps going through the roof. And I'm just thinking to myself, not letting anyone else in the boat know that we're about to run out of gas, and just hoping and praying that I could make it to the fueling dock in time. Well, here's the good news. I had anxiety from mile 68 all the way to mile 40. We made it, and we made it to the gas station. We were at 68.3 is what we put in the boat, and it's a 70-gallon tank. So I had just a little over a gallon of gas to get back. But that created a lot of necessary anxiety, which created a lot of negative emotions. I was not patient. I was not enjoying the moment with my kids. I wasn't enjoying the scenery. All the things around me were affected because of that anxiety I created by myself. And so after I got to the dock and got fuel and we got ice cream, I had to let everything go. I did not want that anxiety to carry through the rest of the day with me. Now, a couple of other stories of anxiety. Back in the day, I know many of you have heard my story about losing everything, and I have a fear of never having enough money. What I mean by that is I could have $1 million in the bank, and I still realize that it's not enough because of the what if game that is played with my mental capacity in my mind. What if this happens? What if that happens? What I want to tell you is how I overcame that is I stopped looking at the bank account. I used to look at the bank account. I used to go over the budget with my wife. I used to be like, okay, we got this, we got this, we got this. We got X amount of dollars going out. We have X amount of dollars coming in. I made a decision that I was no longer going to look at the bank account. And literally it goes like this. My wife tells me, Ty, stop spending money. That's what she says. But I don't look at the bank account because I don't want to create that negative thought or that anxiety that forces me to be negative throughout the day or unnecessary stress. I'd rather be positive and have those positive endorses flood my mind than deal with all the negative emotions. One last one. I had an agent call me up, and I have some agents that when it related to money, they're new in the business, and they look at their commission statement every single week. And you know what? I do not look at my commission statements. And they look at how many people get added, how many people fall off. And for this agent, it was creating a lot of unnecessary anxiety. And what I told him is I said, hey, you need to figure out how to overcome that anxiety, because every time you look at your commission statement, it's a negative thought, and it floods you with negative emotions. I said, yes, people fall off, people die, people leave you. But you know what? Go get another one. Look at it this way. Maybe you didn't want them as a client, or maybe it was what it was supposed to be. Yes, it does affect your pocketbook, but don't let the anxiety overcome you or take you over and overcome what you're trying to do, being a positive thing and becoming financially free and doing those types of things. So anxiety is negative, and everybody has it. That's the point. Everybody has it. It's a created an emotion, and whatever anxiety you're feeling in life from whatever you're dealing with, figure out how to overcome it. And if it's in a job, let's say it's a job, and you go to work, and every time you go to a job, you start breaking out in hives, and you're like, this 30,000-hour job is just killing me. I don't like it. Your boss is a jerk. I had a job, and it was the worst job ever. I was there 8 months. When I lost everything, I had 17 jobs in 1 year. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to be when I grew up in early 2008. And I had a guy, I took a job in what's called a milling company, and they did cabinets, high-end cabinets, and my job was to design and draft them. And what happened is I had a guy came in and purchased the company to bail them out. So there was an owner that ran it, and the owner was there, but then the investor brought in another party to run and oversee everything on site. Well, I was hired by the investor side. And the investor side, I worked for them. I didn't work for the owner of the cabinet company that was bought out. So what happens? The owner of the company came in. He did not like me at all. He would call me names. He would say I was a worthless piece of crap. I should have never been hired. I mean, this was daily. He's like, you're garbage. Your designs are terrible. And it was a lot of anxiety on my behalf to try and make a paycheck, but I was hired by the investors. So I'd go to the investors and tell them what's going on. They're like, yeah, that's just so-and-so. Let him be. Don't listen to him. But it didn't change the fact that I got a lot of negative thoughts from him, and a lot of, he's horrible, the worst position that you could ever be in as an employee. Terrible, terrible, terrible. So after 8 months, I said, dude, I've had enough of this. I don't want to go to work and feel like crap. I don't want someone to call me names. I don't want someone to call me a moron. I don't want any of that. So I left. The investors called me up. Why did you leave? You did a great job. You bailed us out, blah, 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 blah. All the things that they said I did for them, it did not matter to me. But I got out of that situation and changed my mindset, and that anxiety all went away. So you could create anxiety at a job. It could be by a thought. It could be, me driving a boat. It could be whatever the anxiety is. It could be commission. It could be money. Find out what it is. And sometimes it's not easy to find out what's giving you that anxiety. But if you ponder enough, and if you talk to somebody, talk to your mentor, talk through it, and eliminate that anxiety from your life. Life's too short. Anxiety is a created emotion. With anxiety comes fear. Fear is a created emotion. We've talked a lot about fear on these podcasts. But it doesn't have to be that way. The anxiety can go away. Your body can be freed from that stress and that burden. You can enjoy the scenery. You can enjoy traveling down the canal, Lake Powell with your family and not worry about running out of gas. That was an emotion that I created, and looking back, my wife wasn't worried. My kids weren't worried. They had no idea. It was me and me only. But it messed with me enough to bring you this podcast this week. And then, like the employer that I had to leave them because it created unnecessary anxiety. Everything in life has a pro and con. Everything in life has a positive and negative. Learn to be positive. Surround your people with positivity. Surround your people that are positive. It's easy to find negative. It's easy to find fault. But it's so much brighter and so much more joy
by not realizing my body's tensing up from anxiety and I can enjoy the moment. Live each and every day as if it was your last. Banish anxiety from your life. Feel free to share this podcast to your friends, your neighbors, your relatives. The content is free. It's all here to help you and serve you. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Ty Brady Way. As always, share, like, and subscribe. Go to Instagram at ty.r.brady. And as always, love hearing from you. And let me know what you want to learn on the show or what you'd like me to bring up on the show. Thanks.
You can find the Ty Brady Way on Instagram as well as Facebook. To stay connected with giveaways and Ty himself, go ahead and follow at ty.r.brady on Instagram as well as Facebook. This podcast was recorded, edited, and produced by Whitney Face Media Marketing. The theme music is an excerpt from Hot Chicken of the Woods by Isaac Joel.